All right, everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. This is the Jordan Report, and I am your host, Robert Jordan. Please remember to like, subscribe, and share. All right, we're going to go back out to California. We're going to talk about the wildfires and the blackouts, the rolling blackouts. Something that comes out of the third world, in case you guys don't know. Okay, this is what the third world suffers from. And I'm very suspicious of this because none of it makes any sense to me. And I'm going to show you why. Think California's preemptive blackouts are scary? Buckle up. Keep in mind, the California government is ran by lefties. These are greenies. This is the Green New Deal. You can't build a house out there without solar panels. They're the climate people. Okay, they're trying to get people to cut down their consumption of meat and driving their cars. They build bike lanes everywhere. This is who runs California. I just want to remind you that as we go into the story. At midnight on Wednesday, California's largest utility began cutting off power to customers across the northern part of the state. The rolling blackout came with just a day's warning, as the intense fire weather is expected to whip up across the region. The gusty winds have caused power lines to snap, and on the back of dry, hot conditions sparked massive wildfires in recent years. PG&E, the utility in question, is looking to reduce that risk by cutting the juice for up to 800,000 customers in the coming days. That translates to more than 2 million people. SCE, the electric utility for much of Southern California, is also considering a planned blackout. The move exposes how brittle our systems are in the face of the climate crisis, which is making conditions that are ripe for large fires worse. It also raises the question of how private companies handle public services and preparing for a coming onslaught of climate-fueled disasters. They're talking climate change, people. That's what they're blaming this on. Okay, for a lot of people, it's not settled science, but they're already making policies as though it is. And I'm going to show you a video of another town, how this is affecting another town. So please hang around. All right, now where was I? Mara Wara, the director of climate and energy policy, tweeted that the PG&E blackout could result in anywhere from 65 to 2.5 billion in losses over the entire planned outage area. That low end of the spectrum only looks at the cost of residential losses, while the high end includes commercial and industrial impacts and loss of productivity. These are businesses that are involved, okay? That means they're putting people out of work for a week or whatever time that they black these people out. Okay? Historically, when people lose access to electricity for extended periods of time, there can be dire consequences, Leah Stokes, an energy expert at the University of California. Particularly vulnerable populations, such as elderly and the disabled. They cut off the power to people, they cut off everybody's power. So they risk these populations' lives. They risk the lives of the elderly and the disabled. This is what they're doing in California right now. They just arbitrarily cut off these people's power. Suddenly a planned blackout could prove deadly. From an actuary perspective, that may be worthwhile trade-off when faced with a campfire-like event as the alternative. They're talking about the big fire that happened last year. But they're saying it's worth the trade-off. It's worth the risk to the populations, the elderly and the disabled. They're saying it's worth that to prevent another campfire-like event. But the fact we're even considering that trade-off just shows how screwed the current grid system is. This is what they're saying, people. They're trying to blame all this on climate change. Okay? Now, when you open that door, they could do this every 3 months if they want. They could blame everything on climate change. They could black out South Los Angeles, okay? It's long past time for us to get serious about reducing the impact of our infrastructure on climate change and also getting ready for the impacts of climate change on our infrastructure. In the power sector, that means big energy efficiency and deep building retrofits efforts, local distributed solar and storage and transmission lines that aren't as big of a fire risk and can handle extreme heat days. This is the green New Deal. This is what they're talking, people. They're just slipping this stuff in on us. So I just want everybody in California to be aware, and then I'm going to show you this clip real fast. I hope it pops up. It was doing well a minute ago. Here it is. Show you how this is impacting the town. This is California. Their electricity was being cut off, and this is what they had to do.
Introducing Chron On, live local news 24/7.
You're talking live local news anytime, anywhere, on any device.
Chron On, streaming now commercial free. Go to chronon.tv to subscribe.
This is Morgan Hill, California. They had to have a curfew because of the power shortage. They didn't want crime. They didn't want people to be out on the streets. So I just want to show you how personal this can be.
Illegal activity, looting, and the like. So law enforcement certainly stepping up their enforcement there. And officials say that they're trying to make sure that people who might have bad intentions don't hit the streets to take advantage of that opportunity if the street. Then live in Morgan Hill for us, where people are preparing for possible darkness in maybe an hour. What do you think, Maureen?
Yeah, we're not sure when that will happen. I'm just outside a busy. People are gearing up and preparing, getting that food and water and ice for the possible power shut off. At this point, we're not sure if it will happen or not. They say right now, if it does happen, it'll be around 8 o'clock. And that's when that curfew will also take place. So people not only just packing up and getting everything for that power shut off, but also getting back in their cars and getting home before that curfew begins.
It says 12 o'clock here and 4 o'clock there, and I don't know. So like I said, we haven't been affected yet, but I'm hoping we don't be.
People in Morgan Hill are unsure when or if they'll lose power, but are preparing for the possibility. Pacific Gas and Electric say about 38,000 customers will be affected by the power shutoff throughout Santa Clara County. In Morgan Hill, city officials are enforcing a curfew once the lights go out. They say this is for the safety of.
This curfew is to prevent folks from or hanging out in front of residences or businesses that have no power, that have lost the ability to communicate with the police department, potentially, or alarms.
Police say you can walk on your own property, check on neighbors, and drive, but walking your dog in your neighborhood is off limits.
I usually don't around where I live because there's mountain lions and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's not going to bother me much. But, yeah, for people who do take a walk, when it's cooler out and want to walk their dog and stuff.
We don't want people out and about at night where their safety is in jeopardy or someone else's. It's going to be pretty dark tonight. So that's our main goal.
So right now the power is still on here in Morgan Hill, so that curfew is not in effect just yet. But if or when that power is out and the curfew does begin, they say it'll be in effect until 6:30 tomorrow morning. Back to you.
Yeah, we were going to ask you that, Michelle, because the police weren't really spelling it out. If power could be out a few days and everyone's hearing that that's a possibility, would the curfew be extended?
So at this point, they say it's just in effect for tonight if power goes out tonight, and they will talk about it again tomorrow morning in a meeting and let us know. I would assume as long as the power is out, when it's dark outside at night, that curfew will stay in place. But as of right now, it's confirmed only for tonight.
All right, that's what they're doing in California, guys. Okay, to me it looks like they're getting used to. They're getting their people used to having rolling blackouts, just like third world countries. That's what it looks like to me. Okay, knowing the left the way they are, this is the way they're operating. Because they really want to cut down on what they say is man-made effect on the planet. This is what they believe.